the Ruto regime is determined to wipe away completely indigenous farming and instead put it in the hands of conglomerates. We know they began by bringing in GMOs. When the issue of agriculture is in the hands of conglomerates, poor people will not access seeds, which will be out of their range. And if agricultural activities are criminalized, it means we all have to depend on buying food from the shops. How many can afford? Instead of helping Kenya to be food secure, we are destroying any chance of Kenyans ever being the masters of their own destiny when it comes to food security. Amidst all these chaos and the chaotic rollout of SHIF, we have not had the elected leaders from the presidency to parliamentarians highlighting the suffering of Kenyans. Instead, they are all glued to the power games of impeachment. Kenyans are not diverted, the Kenyans' attention is not diverted to the issues of the day, and that's why participants in Elgeyo Marakwet were asking whether the impeachment of Gachagua will build the stadiums that were promised, whether it will bring the building of the roads that they have been promised and have not so far been built. In other words, Kenyans want their issues attended to, not sideshows. And the message to the Ruto regime is clear: shape up or shape out. Governments are elected and leaders are elected to prioritize the needs of the people. But it appears that Ruto and his regime and the entire parliament are oblivious of the needs of the people. Only very few of the parliamentarians are focused on the issues of the people. We are calling upon Kenyans to continue raising their voices. This regime needs not only to be reminded of its duty, but it needs to be forced out if it cannot attend to the people's needs. We are calling on Ruto and his cronies to heed the call for justice that take us throughout the valleys and hills of Kenya, and to know that Kenyans have not forgotten that they are being denied their rights, that there is economic sabotage, and that life is being made unbearable. And that is why in one voice Kenyans have said, in order to preserve the very soul of our nation, both Ruto and his deputy Gachagua and the entire government ought to do the honorable thing, exit the stage and pave way